Have you ever considered the incredible power that lies in one simple word, no? It's a tiny word, just 2 letters, but it holds an immense amount of strength and influence. It's a word that can shift the course of a conversation, a relationship, even a life, in a completely new direction. Now let's dig a little deeper into the importance of saying no. One of the most significant benefits of saying no is the ability to reclaim time. Time is our most valuable asset, and when we say no to things that don't align with our priorities, we are, in essence, saying yes to the things that truly matter. It's about choosing quality over quantity, substance over superficiality. Next, let's consider the role of no in establishing boundaries. Boundaries are crucial for maintaining a sense of self and ensuring respect in our interactions with others. When we say no, we set a clear boundary about what we will and won't accept. It's a clear declaration of our personal limits, a sign of self-respect. But saying no isn't just about time and boundaries, it's also about affirming personal values. Each time we say no to something that doesn't align with our values, we are saying yes to ourselves. We are standing up for what we believe in, even if it might be uncomfortable or difficult. Yet despite the power of no, many of us find it challenging to say. We may feel a societal or personal pressure to agree, to accommodate, to please. But remember, every yes is a no to something else. Every time we agree to something that's not in line with our values, we're saying no to something that is. Saying no isn't just about refusing something, it's about valuing your time, your boundaries, and yourself. So the next time you're faced with a decision, remember the power of no, and consider what you're really saying yes to. Why do we find it so challenging to utter this 2-letter word? Let's dive into this conundrum. It's simple, isn't it? No. Just 2 letters. But these 2 letters can feel like the heaviest load on our tongues. There are several reasons why we might struggle to say no, and they're often deeply rooted in our human nature. Firstly, we have the fear of conflict. It's in our nature to want to maintain harmony in our relationships. We worry that saying no will create tension or even lead to an argument. It's as if the word no is a spark that could ignite a potential conflict. So we often say yes to keep the peace, even when we don't want to. Secondly, there's the fear of disappointing others. We don't want to let people down, especially those who matter to us. We want to be seen as reliable, dependable, the one who always comes through. But in the process, we might end up saying yes to things we don't have the time, energy, or desire for. Thirdly, we have the fear of missed opportunities. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to grab every opportunity, to be part of everything, to experience it all. Saying no seems like closing a door, and we worry about what we might miss out on the other side. However, this constant yes can lead to negative consequences. It can result in burnout, as we stretch ourselves too thin trying to fulfill all the commitments we've made. It can also lead to resentment, as we grudgingly do things we never wanted to do in the first place. So it's crucial to understand these fears and challenges. To say no effectively, we need to recognize why it's hard for us. We need to understand that it's okay to prioritize ourselves, to set boundaries, and to let go of opportunities that don't align with our values or goals. The first step to saying no effectively is understanding why it's so hard to say in the first place. Now that we've identified the problem, how can we start solving it? You might be asking. Well, it's time to explore the first 2 steps of saying no effectively. Our first step is self-awareness. This is the cornerstone of any personal development journey, and the ability to say no is no exception. You need to recognize when to say no. This might seem simple at first glance, but it's much more nuanced than it appears. The key here is to understand your own boundaries and limits. Ask yourself, what are my priorities? What are my values? What are my energy levels? These questions will help you identify situations where you might need to say no. For instance, if a certain request conflicts with your values or drains your energy, it might be a situation where no is the appropriate response. Remember, saying no isn't about being disagreeable or difficult, it's about respecting your own needs and boundaries. You don't have to say yes to everything. In fact, spreading yourself too thin can lead to burnout and resentment. So cultivate self-awareness. Recognize when saying no is not only okay, but necessary. Now on to the second step, practice. It's one thing to understand when to say no, but it's another to actually do it. This is where practice comes in. Start saying no in low-risk situations. Maybe it's declining an extra slice of cake at a family dinner, or opting out of a social gathering that you're not particularly interested in. The idea here is to get comfortable with the act of saying no. It might feel a bit strange or uncomfortable at first, and that's okay. You're challenging a deeply ingrained habit, and change is rarely easy, but with practice, it will become easier. You'll start to notice a shift in your confidence and your ability to uphold your boundaries. So there you have it, the first 2 steps to saying no effectively. Self-awareness and practice. Remember, this is a journey. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. The journey to saying no effectively begins with understanding yourself and practicing in safe environments. Ready to take your no to the next level? Let's jump right in. Step 3 in mastering the art of saying no is being assertive. Now I know what you're thinking. Assertiveness? That sounds a bit harsh. Well, let me assure you, it's not. Assertiveness is all about clear communication. It's about expressing your needs and desires without being aggressive or disrespectful. It's about standing up for yourself while maintaining respect for others. It's a delicate balance, but once mastered, it can be a game changer. So how can you be assertive when saying no? Start by being direct. If you don't want to do something, simply state it. There's no need for lengthy explanations or justifications. Just a straightforward "no, I can't do that." Remember, you're not asking for permission to say no, you're stating your decision. Next, use a calm and steady voice. Your tone can set the stage for the conversation. If you sound confident and composed, people are more likely to respect your decision. If you sound uncertain or apologetic, they may think they can persuade you to change your mind. Now let's move on to step 4, staying firm. Saying no is one thing, but sticking to it, especially when faced with pushback, is another. When you say no, be ready for some resistance. People may try to guilt you into saying yes, or they may try to convince you that you're being unreasonable. But remember, you have every right to say no, and you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. If someone continues to push you, stay calm and reiterate your no. You can say something like, "I understand your point of view, but my decision remains the same." This reinforces your assertiveness and shows that you're serious about your decision. So, there you have it. Steps 3 and 4 of saying no effectively. By being assertive and staying firm, you're not just saying no. You're communicating your respect for your own time and energy. And that, my friends, is a power move. With assertiveness and firmness, your no will start to pack a punch. Scene script: mastered the art of saying no. Now let's talk about embracing it. Embracing the power of no is a game changer. It's more than just a word. It's a tool, a boundary, an affirmation of value. So how does this simple 2-letter word lead to personal and professional growth? Firstly, by saying no, we create more room for yes. When we decline tasks that don't align with our goals, we free up time and energy for the things that truly matter to us. We create space to focus on our passions, our needs, and our aspirations. This is how personal growth begins, by focusing on the things that truly enrich our lives. Secondly, no is a powerful tool for maintaining boundaries. In professional settings, this can mean rejecting unreasonable requests or declining assignments that fall outside of our job descriptions. In personal relationships, it could mean refusing to tolerate disrespect or setting limits on time and energy spent. By doing this, we demonstrate to others, and more importantly to ourselves, that we value our time, our energy, and our well-being. Now let's debunk a common myth. Saying no is not negative, it's not a rejection, it's not a sign of weakness or rudeness. Quite the opposite, in fact. Saying no is a form of self-care and respect. It shows that you know your worth and you're not afraid to assert it. The power of no is transformative. It's empowering. It's liberating. It enables us to live authentically, to pursue our goals with vigor, and to maintain our mental and emotional well-being. Embrace the power of no. Let it become your mantra, your shield, your advocate. Let it guide you towards a life of authenticity, respect, and fulfillment. Remember, saying no is not a rejection of others, but an acceptance of yourself. So start saying no and unlock your ultimate power move.